And he sent them out 2 by 2. As you might remember that we just got back, a group of us came back from the Tijuana yesterday after the mission trip for a week building 3 homes. It's wonderful. We all got back safe and sound, and it was wonderful, but there were some amazing moments on this week of mission trip. It's hard to identify any one that was particularly more potent than the other, but there was definitely powerful, like just the blessing of the homes when we gave them the keys, and the tears in our eyes as they received this gift of a home that they previously did not have. Or the moment when we were all working together and this house goes up and suddenly, you know, it's done, and the teamwork, or how carefully our kitchen crew prepared all the food so that we'd be nourished on time, and then the many different immersion trips we took into different places, like the border. There's a place called Friendship Park, and the border goes right into the sea. The wall goes right into the sea. It's rather shocking to see. You look at this line and you go, what's a wall doing into the ocean? It just, in some ways, it completely doesn't make sense. And there's 2 of them, not just one, 2 walls to go down to make sure no one can get over the first or the second. But there was one particular place that we visited that was particularly powerful. It was the clinic for TB and AIDS, and they have 160 residents here, and these are the people who are most rejected by their society. And this group of people minister to them, and it's an incredibly powerful place of love, of a sanctuary of love. Really, really powerful. One of the moments probably for me that was most powerful was one of the residents who had been deported from America, had perfect English. He'd been in America most of his life, from 1 year old, and got deported. And he got TB, and so he ended up in this location after spending time on the streets. And we had this exchange and dialogue. And one of the things he said was, we was a moment for questions. He didn't give a question. He just made a statement by sharing a story from Robert Greene, the author, the American author. I think it's from the book, The 40 Rules of Power, I think. But anyway, the story, this is what he shared, and it was really powerful. He said, there was 2 men who were walking along, and one was carrying a bag that was rather heavy, and the other asked him, "What's in your bag?" And he opened up his bag, and he showed him it was a solid gold bar. And the guy looks at it and he goes, "A gold bar? Like, wow, that's everything. You should." He said, "Well, do you want it?" He says, "Of course I want it." So he gives him the gold bar. The guy takes the bar, puts it in his bag, and then walks off and leaves him. A year later, they meet. And the older guy who gave the bar away meets him, and he says, "How are you doing?" And he goes, "Great." And he says, "I want to give you this bar of gold back." He said, "But I thought you wanted it. I thought you wanted to keep it." "Oh, I do want to keep it. But I want more what you have in being able to give it away to me. That's what I want more. So I want to give it back to you. Because I want that more than having the bar of gold." Then he turns around, this resident at the TB clinics, turns around and he looks at us and he says, "As much as I love being here and being loved and being surrounded by all the residents here, I want what you guys have more. That you have come down from America, left everything what you have done in America, and come down just to visit us and to love us." We were silenced because we didn't know what to say, because we'd only just come to visit, come to say hello. But for him, that made all the difference. The power of presence, the power of being present to them. And he wanted that more than anything else in the world. And we didn't even realize we had it. You know, the gift of presence. And that's what this ministry has always been about. It is, yes, we build homes, yes, agree, and we change their lives, but fundamentally it's a ministry of presence to people who often feel forgotten in the world, who think that nobody notices or sees them or wants them. And we not only go down there and present to them, yes, we do build the homes, but we visit with the families and we visit with them on their side of the border. When Jesus was sending out the apostles, the 12, in Mark's gospel it depicts as just the 12, and the other gospels he sends out all his disciples. Of course, that's what we see. He sends out all of us to share the good news of the gospel with others. How do we do that is incredibly important. But important is that we do something to spread the good news. You see, it's not enough, and it's wonderful to have you all here and have you online. I thank you all for joining us, and it's great that you join online. But it's not enough to sit at home or here, and especially we who come to receive from the table. We've got to convert that into some form of action, some form of presence, some form of ministry that is a witness to what we have heard here today, that what we have participated in. We need, as Jesus said, is to bring the peace of Christ to all. The question is then, what does that look like for us? I mean, because I understand not everyone could go down to Mexico, Tijuana, and build homes. I get that. But how can we all play a role? Well, for some of us, it's something as simple as being present to our spouse in our home, whether they're well or whether they're sick, to being fully present to them and bringing the joy of the gospel right into your own home or with your children and your family. Not to berate them because they're not here, but to bring the joy of the gospel, the message of this message that Christ gives us, that life eternal is real and that we're called to participate in that. Now, that's the joy of the gospel. And so for some others, it will be something maybe a little bit more extreme. Benjamin. And he's going to get baptized as well. Maybe he just found out. Anyway, so for some others, it's going to be something a little bit more radical than just inside our home. Maybe we need to take the time to visit with that neighbor or that relative with whom we have not spent time with. That relative who we maybe even struggle with. And it's our turn to pick up the phone or go and visit them and be present to them in the midst of their suffering. Or maybe it's something more radical. We have to go to the peripheries, those who are not included. Maybe that is the immigrant. Maybe that is the homeless. Maybe it's a member of the LGBTQ community who we don't see or they don't feel welcomed here, that we call to bring that message of the gospel to them. One of joy, one of love, one of compassion, to give it away. Because you see, what we receive here is God's gift of love to us. But we can't just hold on to it. We must be willing to give it away. We must be willing to give it away. You see, that's what that man in the story had, is that he had the freedom. He had the freedom to give away what he had received. See, there are things that hold us back. And we have to ask ourselves, what is it that's holding us back? What is it that is weighing us down? And the freedom that comes with giving away, like the disciples sent out to take nothing with them for the journey. Sometimes it's wealth, yes it is. But sometimes it's power, it's prestige, maybe it's a title, maybe it's a position, maybe it's our position in our family or our community. But we give that away so that we are free to give away the love that we have received at the table. You see, that's what the disciples were so free to do. And they themselves were a little bit amazed. They came back surprised that they were able to heal and to bring this message and cast demons. That meant to spread the gospel. So let's not be surprised. Let's not be surprised when we give ourselves away. That the Lord is present in those ministries. The power of presence. The power of presence in the small moments. The power of presence in the larger moments. But whatever it is that we do, let us commit to doing some one thing this week that will spread the gospel news. We're going to make that promise to Benjamin and William in just a couple of seconds. We're promised to be there for them, not only their parents and their godparents. We all promise to be witnesses to them to show the way. That's what we're called to do. We will all be sent out 2 by 2 to bring the message. So today at the end of Mass, we will do that. We will send you out and ask you to bring the good news to others by our lives, by showing it our lives. So let us choose 1 or 2 moments, and together we'll spread the good news 2 by 2 as far as the world will take us.